Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day. Don't forget, grab your smartphone and download the Lava Matra app and stay in touch. Guru Maharaja's message is your advantage. The following is a Chaitanya Lila compilation given by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj on January 9th, 2022 in Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, India.
Pongurangayate girim
Yase Sadhavahan Vande
Shri Gurum Dinatarinam
Bhagavanandavadam
Śrī Caitanya Ishwaram
Harihi Om Tat Sat.
Om Tat Sat. My dear devotees, so today we are reading from the Śrī Caitanya book compilation class, and today's chapter is entitled as Maharashtriyan Brāhmaṇa approaches Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu to extend him an invitation, part 2. Under the section, how all the residents of Varanasi became Vaishnavas. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 7, text 48.
তারে শিখাইলা সব বৈষ্ণবের ধর্ম ভাগবত আদি শাস্ত্রের যত গুড় মর্ম
On the basis of scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam, which reveals these confidential directions, Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu instructed Sanatana Goswami regarding all the regulated activities of his devotion. Purport. In the Parampara system, the instructions taken from the bona fide spiritual master must also be based on revealed Vedic scriptures. One who is in the line of disciplic succession cannot manufacture his own way of behavior. There are many so-called followers of the Vaishnava cult in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who do not scrupulously follow the conclusions of the Shastras, and therefore they are considered to be apasampradaya, which means outside of the sampradaya. Some of these groups are known as Aula, Baula, Karta Bhaja, Mega, Daravesha, Sani, Sahajya, Sakibeki, Smarta, Jata Goswami, Jab Gosai, Atibadi, Chudadhari, and Duranganagari. In order to follow strictly the disciplic succession of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one should not associate with these upper sampradaya communities. One who is not taught by a bona fide spiritual master cannot understand the Vedic literature. To emphasize this point, Lord Kṛṣṇa, while instructing Arjuna, clearly said that it was because Arjuna was his devotee and confidential friend that he could understand the mystery of the Bhagavad Gita. It is to be concluded, therefore, that one who wants to understand the mystery of the revealed scriptures must approach a bona fide spiritual master, hear from him very submissively, and render service to him. Then the import of the scriptures will be revealed. It is stated in the Vedas, Svetasvatara Upanishad 6.23, Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tathagaro asyaita katita hyarta prakasante mahatmanaha. The real import of the scriptures is revealed to one who has unflinching faith in both the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the spiritual master. Srila Narottam Das Thakur advises, Sadhu Shastra Guru Vakya Hidaye Karya Aikya. The meaning of this instruction is that one must consider the instructions of the sadhu, the revealed scriptures, and the spiritual master in order to understand the real purpose of spiritual life. Neither a sadhu, saintly person, or Vaishnava, nor a bona fide spiritual master says anything that is beyond the scope of the sanction of the revealed scriptures. the statements of the revealed scriptures correspond to those of the bona fide spiritual master and saintly persons. One must therefore act with reference to these three important sources of understanding.
Some people comment that Srila Prabhupada would adapt his discussions with non-devotees and with devotees.
Some people complain that Srila Prabhupada would adapt discussions with devotees and non-devotees.
And that the discussion with devotees was more relevant.
And that the discussion for devotees was more relevant.
But this is a false idea.
But this is a false idea.
So Prabhupada maintained his validity to the Shastra at all times.
Srila Prabhupada maintained his validity to the Shastra at all times.
And he always backed up what he said with reference to Shastra, Sadhu, and Guru.
He always backed up what he said to the Shastra with reference to Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra.
So, I may not like what Srila Prabhupada said at all times, but whatever he said, according to Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru.
One may not like what Srila Prabhupada said at all times, but whatever he said is according to Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 25, text 7.
মায়াবাদী সন্ন্যাসীগণের প্রভু হিন্দু মহারাষ্ট্রীয় বিদ্রোহের মনোদুঃখে তাহাদের কল্যাণ ছিল যাহা তাহা প্রভুর নিন্দা করে সন্ন্যাসীরগণ শুনি দুঃখে মহারাষ্ট্রীয় বিপ্র করে চিন্তন।
When the Mayavadi sannyasis were criticizing Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu anywhere and everywhere in the Varanasi, the Maharashtriya9 Brāhmaṇa, hearing this blasphemy, began to think about this unhappiness.
This was the cause of Mayavadi sannyasis getting the mercy.
So this was the cause of the Mayavadi sannyasis getting their mercy, the mercy.
Mahārāja Brāhmaṇa could not tolerate criticism of Lord Chaitanya.
The Maharashtriya9 Brāhmaṇa could not tolerate criticism of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lila, chapter 25, text 8.
প্রভুর স্বভাব যেবা দেখে সন্নিধানে স্বরূপ অনুভবিতারে ঈশ্বর পরিমাণে।
The Maharashtriya9 Brāhmaṇa thought, whoever closely sees the characteristics of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu immediately realizes his personality and accepts him as the Supreme Lord.
Mahārāja Brāhmaṇa came to the realization that Lord Chaitanya was Kṛṣṇa himself.
The Maharashtriya9 Brāhmaṇa came to the realization that Lord Chaitanya was Kṛṣṇa himself.
And that if the Mayavadi sannyasis could see him close up, they would come to the same conclusion.
And that if the Mayavadi sannyasis would see him close up, they would come to the same conclusion. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 25, text 9. If by some means I can assemble all the sannyasis together, they will certainly become his devotees after seeing his personal characteristics. Purport: if one saw the personal characteristics and activities of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, one would certainly be convinced that he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One can ascertain this by following in the footsteps of the sastric injunctions. This sincere study and appreciation of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu is also applicable to his authorized devotees, and it is clearly stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita until Lila, chapter 7, text 11. Kali kalera dharma Kṛṣṇa nama sankirtan Krishna shakti vina nahe tar pavartan. In this age of Kali, real religious propaganda should induce people to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This is possible for someone who is especially empowered by Krishna. No one can do this without being especially favored by Krishna. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments in this regard in his Anubhasla, wherein he quotes a verse from the Narayana Samhita. Vapariyaya Janet Vishnu Pancharatraistu Kevalai Kalotu Nama Mantrena Ujyate Bhagavan Harihi. In Dwapara Yuga, devotees of Lord Vishnu and Krishna render devotional service according to the principles of Pancharatra. In this age of Kali, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipped simply by the chanting of His holy names. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur then comments, without being empowered by the direct potency of Lord Krishna to fulfill his desire, and without being specifically favored by the Lord, no human being can become a spiritual master of the whole world. He certainly cannot succeed by mental concoction, which is not meant for devotees or religious people. Only an empowered personality can distribute the holy name of the Lord and enjoin all fallen souls to worship Krishna. By distributing the holy name of the Lord, he cleanses the hearts of the most fallen people. Therefore, he extinguishes the blazing fire of the material world. Not only that, he broadcasts the shining brightness of Krishna's effulgence throughout the world. Such an acharya or spiritual master should be considered non-different from Krishna. That is, he should be considered the incarnation of Lord Krishna's potency. Such a personality is Krishna Vigraha. That is, he is always embraced by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a person is above the considerations of the Varnashram institution. He is the Guru or spiritual master for the entire world, a devotee on the topmost platform, the Mahabhagavata stage, and a Paramahamsa Thakura, a spiritual form only fit to be addressed as Paramahamsa or Thakura. Nonetheless, there are many people who are just like owls and never open their eyes to see the sunshine. These owlish personalities, who are inferior even to the Mayavadi sannyasis, cannot see the brilliance of Krishna's favor upon the Mahabhagavat devotee. They are prepared to criticize the person engaged in distributing the holy name all over the world and following in the footsteps of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, who wanted Krishna consciousness preached in every town and city.
Second Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktisiddhanta Swami Prabhupada, he was such a personality who preached the holy name all over the world.
His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, was such a person that he preached the holy name all over the world.
And therefore we can understand that he was empowered by Lord Sri Krishna.
And therefore we can understand that he was empowered by Lord Sri Krishna.
But people who fail to recognize this are like the owls who never open their eyes to see the sunshine.
But people who fail to recognize this are like the owls who never open their eyes to see the sunshine.
So Prabhupada, by carrying out meticulously the orders of his spiritual master.
So Srila Prabhupada, by carrying out the orders meticulously of his spiritual master,
Śrī Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
Able to achieve hitherto unthought of results.
He was able to achieve unthought of results. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 25, text 10.
বারাণসী বাস আমার হয় সর্বকালে সর্বকাল দুঃখ পাব ইহা না করিলে
I shall have to reside at Varanasi the rest of my life. If I do not try to carry out this plan, I shall certainly continue to suffer mental depression.
The Maharashtrian Brāhmaṇa decided, come what may, he'll try to realize this goal.
The Maharashtrian Brahmin, he decided, come what may, he would carry out.
He'll try to achieve this result.
He will try to achieve this result. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 25, text 11.
মায়াবাদী সন্ন্যাসীগণকে নিজ আলয়ের মন্দির এত চিন্তিনি মন্ত্রিল সন্ন্যাসীর গণে তবে সেই বিপ্র আইল মহাপ্রভুর স্থানে.
Thinking like this, the Maharashtrian Brāhmaṇa extended an invitation to all the sannyasis of Varanasi. After doing this, he finally approached Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu to extend him an invitation.
The Maharashtrian Brāhmaṇa had arranged all the nasty Mayavadi sannyasis to come to his house.
The Maharashtrian Brahmin arranged that all the sannyasis of Varanasi would come to his house. Mayavadi sannyasis.
Now, to complete the effort, he has to bring Lord Chaitanya.
Now, to complete the effort, he has to bring Lord Chaitanya. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 25, text 12.
চন্দ্রশেখর এবং তপন মিশ্রেরও যোগবৎ প্রভুকে একই নিবেদন কোনকালে নিন্দা শুনি শেখর তপন দুঃখ পাইয়া প্রভু পদে কইলা নিবেদন.
At this time, Chandrasekhar and Tapan Mishra both heard blasphemous criticisms against Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu and felt very unhappy. They came to Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu's lotus feet to submit a request.
The devotees were hearing this. Mayavadi sannyasis criticize Lord Chaitanya.
Different devotees were hearing this Mayavadi sannyasis criticizing Lord Chaitanya.
They could not take it. They could not tolerate it.
They could not take it. They could not tolerate it.
They approached Lord Chaitanya.
So they approached Lord Chaitanya
Make this request.
to make this request. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 25, text 13. They submitted their request, and Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, seeing his devotees' unhappiness, decided to turn the minds of the Mayavadi sannyasis.
So, Lord Chaitanya is Bhakta Vatsala.
So Lord Chaitanya is Bhakta Vatsala.
He always tries to please his devotees.
He always tries to please his devotees.
When he saw the devotees were unhappy,
When he saw his devotees were unhappy,
he decided to turn the minds of Mayavadi sannyasis.
he decided to turn the minds of the Mayavadi sannyasis. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 7, text 49.
ইতিমধ্যে চন্দ্রশেখর মিশ্র তপন দুঃখী হইয়া প্রভু পায় কইল নিবেদন.
Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lila, chapter 7, verse 50.
কতেক শুনিব প্রভু তোমার নিন্দন, না পারি সহিতে এবে ছাড়িব জীবন।
How long can we tolerate the blasphemy by your critics against your conduct? We should give up our lives rather than hear such blasphemy. Purport. One of the most important instructions by Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu regarding regular Vaishnava behavior is that a Vaishnava should be tolerant like a tree and submissive like grass. Tinadapi sunitena karohi vasahishmana amanina manadena kitaniya sadahari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than a straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Nevertheless, the author of these instructions, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, did not tolerate the submissive behavior of Jagai and Madai. When they harmed Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he immediately became angry and wanted to kill them, and it was only by the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu that they were saved. One should be very meek and humble in his personal transactions, and if insulted a Vaishnava, should be tolerant and not angry. But if there is blasphemy against one's guru or another Vaishnava, one should be as angry as fire. This was exhibited by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One should not tolerate blasphemy against a Vaishnava, but should immediately take one of the three actions. If someone blasphemes a Vaishnava, one should stop him with arguments and higher reason. If one is not expert enough to do this, he should give up his life on the spot, and if he cannot do this, he must go away. While Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Benares or Kashi, the Mayavadi sannyasis blasphemed him in many ways because, although he was a sannyasi, he was indulging in chanting and dancing. Apanisha and Chandrasekhara heard this criticism, and it was intolerable for them because they were great devotees of Lord Chaitanya. They could not stop it, however, and therefore they appealed to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because this blasphemy was so intolerable that they had decided to give up their lives.
Chaitanya and Chandrasekhara had decided to take the second option.
Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhara had decided to take the second option.
Was to take their life.
They
appealed at Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet.
So then they appealed at Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, Chapter 7, Text 51.
তোমারে নিন্দয়ে যত সন্ন্যাসীর গণ, শুনিতে না পারি ফাটে হৃদয় শ্রবণ।
The Mayavadi sannyasis are all criticizing your holiness. We cannot tolerate hearing such criticism, for this blasphemy breaks our hearts. Purport. This is a manifestation of real love for Kṛṣṇa and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There are three categories of Vaishnavas: Kanishta Adhikaris, Madhyama Adhikaris, and Uttama Adhikaris. The Kanishta Adhikari, or the devotee in the lowest stage of Vaishnava life, has firm faith but is not familiar with the conclusions of the Shastras. The devotee in the second stage, the Madhya Adhikari, is completely aware of the Shastric conclusion and has firm faith in his Guru and the Lord. He therefore, avoiding non-devotees, preaches to the innocent. However, the Mahabhagavata or Uttama Adhikari, the devotee in the highest stage of devotional life, does not see anyone as being against the Vaishnava principles, for he regards everyone as a Vaishnava but himself. This is the essence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction, that one be more tolerant than a tree and think oneself lower than the straw in the street. Trinadapi sunichena taror iva sahishnuna. However, even if a devotee is in the Uttama Bhagavata status, he must come down to the second status of life, Madhyama Adhikari, to be a preacher. For a preacher should not tolerate blasphemy against another Vaishnava. Although a Kanishta Adhikari also cannot tolerate such blasphemy, he is not competent to stop it by citing sastric evidences. Therefore, Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhara are understood to be Kanishta Adhikaris because they could not refute the arguments of the sannyasis in Benares. They appealed to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to take action, for they felt that they could not tolerate such criticisms, although they also could not stop it.
Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhara were not able to stop the criticism of Lord Chaitanya.
Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar were not able to stop the criticisms of Lord Chaitanya.
But they could not tolerate either.
But they could not tolerate it either.
So being in this situation, they revealed their mind to Lord Chaitanya.
So being in this situation, they revealed their mind to Lord Chaitanya. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 25, text 14. While Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu was seriously considering meeting with the Mayavadi sannyasis, the Maharashtriya9 Brāhmaṇa approached him and extended an invitation. The Brāhmaṇa submitted his invitation with great humility, and he touched the lotus feet of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu.
The Maharashtriya9 Brāhmaṇa came just at the right time.
The Maharashtriya9 Brāhmaṇa came just at the right time.
Lord Chaitanya was thinking about delivering the Mayavadi sannyasis.
Lord Chaitanya was thinking about delivering the Mayavadi sannyasis.
The Maharashtriya9 Brāhmaṇa came and extended him an invitation.
And the Maharashtriya9 Brāhmaṇa came and extended him an invitation. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, chapter 7, text 52.
ইহা শুনি রহে প্রভু ঈষৎ হাসিয়া শীতলে এক বিপ্র মিলিল ভাসিয়া.
While Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhara were thus talking with Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, he only smiled slightly and remained silent. At that time, a Brahmana came there to meet the Lord. Purport: because the blasphemy was cast against Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu himself, he did not feel sorry, and therefore he was smiling. This is ideal Vaishnava behavior. One should not become angry upon hearing criticism of himself, but if other Vaishnavas are criticized, one must be prepared to act as previously suggested. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu was very compassionate for his pure devotees, Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhara. Therefore, by his grace, this Brahmana immediately came to him. By his omnipotency, the Lord created this situation for the happiness of his devotees.
Chandrasekhara and Tapan Mishra were eager to have Lord Chaitanya take action against this criticism.
Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhara were eager that Lord Chaitanya would take action against this criticism.
And Lord Chaitanya was being very tolerant because the criticism was to him.
And Lord Chaitanya was being very tolerant because the criticism was being towards him.
But being the omnipotent Lord, he had the Maharashtriya9 Brāhmaṇa come at that time.
But being the omnipotent Lord, he had the Maharashtriya9 Brāhmaṇa come at that time.
And invite him to meet the Mayavadi sannyasis.
to invite him to meet the Mayavadi sannyasis. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, chapter 7, text 53.
আসি নিবেদন করে চরণে ধরিয়া এক বস্তু মাগো দেহ প্রসন্ন হইয়া.
The Brāhmaṇa immediately fell at the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and requested him to accept his proposal in a joyful mood. Purport. The Vedic injunctions state, Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. One must approach a superior authority in humbleness. Bhagavad Gita 4.34. One cannot challenge a superior authority, but with great submission, one can submit his proposal for acceptance by the spiritual master or spiritual authorities. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu is an ideal teacher by his personal behavior, and so also are all his disciples. Thus, this Brāhmana, being purified in association with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, followed these principles in submitting his request to the higher authority. He fell down at the lotus feet of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu and then spoke as follows. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 7, text 54.
সকল সন্ন্যাসী মুই কইনু নিমন্ত্রণ, তুমি যদি আইস পূর্ণ হয় মোর মন.
My dear Lord, I have invited all the sannyasis of Benares to my home. My desires will be fulfilled if you also accept my invitation. Purport. This Brāhmana knew that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the only Vaishnava sannyasi in Benares at that time, and all the others were Mayavadis. It is the duty of a grihastha to sometimes invite sannyasis to take food at his home. This grihastha Brāhmana wanted to invite all the sannyasis to his house, but he also knew that it would be very difficult to induce Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to accept such an invitation because the Mayavadi sannyasis would be present. Therefore, he fell down at his feet and fervently appealed to the Lord to be compassionate and grant his request. Thus, he humbly submitted his desire.
So the Maharashtriyan Brahmana very humbly stated gave his appeal.
So the Maharashtriyan Brāhmana very humbly gave his appeal.
And he wanted actually the Mayavadi sannyasis to get purified by association with Lord Chaitanya.
He wanted actually that the Mayavadi sannyasis would get purified by the association of Lord Chaitanya.
But he knew that normally Lord Chaitanya would not go to such programs.
But he knew that normally Lord Chaitanya would not go to such programs.
So therefore he explained and humbly stated his request.
Therefore he explained and humbly stated his request. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, chapter 7.
সন্ন্যাসী গোষ্ঠী ইহা আমি জানি, মোরে অনুগ্রহ কর নিমন্ত্রণ মানি.
My dear Lord, I know that you never mix with other sannyasis, but please be merciful unto me and accept my invitation. Purport. An acharya, or great personality of the Vaishnava school, is very strict in his principles. But although he is as hard as a thunderbolt, sometimes he is as soft as a rose. Thus, actually, he is independent. He follows all the rules and regulations strictly, but sometimes he slackens this policy. It was known that Lord Chaitanya never mixed with the Mayavadi sannyasis, yet he conceded with the request of the Brāhmana, as stated in the next verse.
Lord Chaitanya was completely independent.
So, Lord Chaitanya was completely independent.
Normally, he was very strict.
Normally, he was very strict,
Being requested by his devotees and the Brāhmaṇa,
but being requested by his devotees and the Brāhmaṇa,
he became soft. And he was willing to extend it to cooperate with his request.
He was willing to cooperate with this request.
As stated in the next verse.
As stated in the next verse. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, chapter 7, verse 6.
প্রভু হাসি নিমন্ত্রণ কইল অঙ্গীকার সন্ন্যাসীরে কৃপা লাগি এ ভঙ্গি তাহার
Lord Chaitanya smiled and accepted the invitation of the Brāhmaṇa. He made this gesture to show his mercy to the Mayavadi sannyasis. Purport. Papan Mishra and Chandrasekhara appealed to the lotus feet of the Lord regarding their grief at the criticism of him by the sannyasis in Benares. Chaitanya Mahāprabhu merely smiled, yet he wanted to fulfill the desires of his devotees, and the opportunity came when the Brāhmana came to request him to accept this invitation to be present in the midst of the other sannyasis. This coincidence was made possible by the omnipotency of the Lord.
So normally, Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya would avoid associating with the Mayavadi sannyasis.
So normally, Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya would avoid the association of the Mayavadi sannyasis.
But to please his devotees, he accepted this invitation.
But to please his devotees, he accepted this invitation. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, chapter 7, text 57.
সে বিপ্র জানেন প্রভু না জান কার ঘরে তাহার প্রেরণায় তারে অত্যাগ্রহ করে
The Brahmana knew that Lord Chaitanya Mahāprabhu never went to anyone else's house. Yet, due to inspiration from the Lord, he earnestly requested him to accept this invitation.
Lord Kṛṣṇa is present in everyone's heart as Super Soul.
Lord Kṛṣṇa is present in everyone's heart as Super Soul.
Lord Chaitanya, wanting to please the devotees, inspired this Brāhmana in the heart to come and invite him.
Lord Chaitanya wanted to please his devotees, inspired this Brahmana from within the heart to come and invite him.
So thus, a Maharashtriya Brahmana came, invited the Lord, and somehow accepted.
And thus the Maharashtrian Brahmana came to invite the Lord, and somehow he accepted. Being independent. So thus ends the chapter entitled as Maharashtrian Brahmana approaches Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu to extend him an invitation. Under the section, how all the residents of Varanasi became Vaishnavas.
Do you like our ad-free videos? Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day, and don't forget to like and share our channel.